Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. We're on the United show today, Devil's Advocate, and today I am joined by weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast and Devil's Advocate regular Shane Dowley, where we're talking all things Manchester United today, as usual. And today we're recording this at 2 p.m. Irish time, so it's kind of a weird time for us to be recording this. So it's kind of a new thing we have here in the weekly Armchair Kickoff. So today, obviously, talking all things United. What we're going to be talking about on today's show, we're going to be talking about obviously our previous game against Arsenal this past weekend, where we talk about the recent arrival of Amad Diallo and kind of what impact he can have, and also our utilisation of kind of the loan system. We talk about our trials and tribulations in front of goal recently. We're going to be looking ahead obviously to today's fixture against Southampton because it is match day. And also, we're going to be looking into many other Manchester United topics. So do get your comments in below. Any thoughts, questions you have for either me or Shane, we will answer them and get your thoughts in the comments there as well. So I suppose, first of all, Shane, looking back at the weekend, 0-0 draw against Arsenal, the worst Arsenal team in many of year. 10th place Arsenal, 9th place Arsenal, 14th place Arsenal, whatever you want to call them. We have a lot of banter with kind of Arsenal fans, but put the banter aside for a moment. When you look back at the weekend's game, I think for me, such a big missed opportunity in terms of getting 3 points and trying to pick up some ground on kind of the teams around us. For you, kind of how would you assess the weekend's game against Arsenal?
It was just more the same of what's been happening in most of the big games this season. Like ever since the Spurs game, he's kind of gone more defensive in the big games, and it's worked for the most part. Cause I think Spurs might be the only of the big six to score against us this season. I think, but we just can't seem to break them down either. And to be fair, McTominay was forced off through injury, so I can't blame it on the McFred partnership because Pogba did go in the middle, but I don't know, man. It was really poor because, especially when you consider Arsenal are probably missing their 3 best players as well, and the fact we really needed the points after we badly needed the points after the Sheffield game. So it's really annoying. And to be fair, we did have a few chances to win it, but we're just not clinical, So I don't know. I feel like it's 2 points dropped again. Like it's bad 5 points we've dropped the last 2 games.
Yeah, look, for me, I think it's 2 points dropped. I completely agree. I think when you look at the quality of the Arsenal team that we played, they're missing Kieran Tierney, they're missing Aubameyang, they're missing Gabriel, and their first choice centre back as well. So when I seen that starting lineup, I was expecting, even with McFred playing, I was like, United should win this game, and they should win this game comfortably. When I seen the players that Arsenal were missing. And obviously we see the likes of Bruno, Pogba, Rashford starting, Cavani. Like we were calling for Cavani to start ahead of Martial. Like I thought, yes, like this game, United have the 3 points in the bag. But like again, I looked at the performance and I don't know what it is with us in the big games as of late. Like it seems like we're not taking our chances. I think that's a massive thing because, like, I think with the couple of chances we had in the game, Shane, like people went in on Ollie for tactics, but you can't really go in on the manager with the tactics in that game because for the vast majority of the game, for 75% of the game, McFred wasn't playing, as you said, Shane. It was Pogba and Fred in the middle of the park, Bruno in the 10. And like when you look at that, there's no excuse for not scoring goals. I think like when you do break it down, like even Jamie has said in the comments there, not clinical enough. I think that's a massive thing here in that respect, because when you actually look at the chances that we've had in the Liverpool game recently, and you look at the chances we had in the Arsenal game, we take them chances, we get 6 points out of them, get 2 games. And I think people can say Arsenal had chances too, but they didn't really trouble David De Gea, really. When you really think of it, they were threatening, but they never really proper had a...
they had a few chances. Like you could say they should have scored, but they didn't score. That doesn't excuse us of missing our chances, Like if our strikers put the ball in the fucking net and Arsenal go up and score, whatever, they're after doing their job. But it doesn't, we missed our chances. If we score ours, then we'll worry about their chances, But it's just annoying because the Sheffield game we created next to nothing. Like, we couldn't do anything, and then the Arsenal we made enough chances to win both games, and we didn't take any. So it's just really frustrating, man.
Yeah, it really is. And like I look at this and I seen even right when Tomley got injured, and look, I hope he gets well soon. I think he must have the dose the shits or something by the looks of things. The way he was, I think he must have diarrhea or something with the way he was, like whatever, because he took a tablet. It's probably Motilium or something, like, do you know what I mean?
And he spiked his drink, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a comment in here from Dermot Scanlon, and this really highlights Manchester United's problems at the moment. Dermot has said Patrick Bamford has more Premier League goals than our front three combined. Embarrassing. Well, I didn't even know that. Like, Shane, just on the back of Dermot's comment there, like, we're meant to have like this front three of Martial, Rashford, Cavani, Greenwood, and Rashford, like, and to see a player from Leeds United, a newly promoted team, has more goals than us. Like when you consider that doesn't fare well for our front three. I know that was a part we're going to get to in the show, but I think we should get to it now, Shane. Like, what do you make of that? Like,
to be fair, Rashford can't do it by himself. Like, Rashford's doing his thing this season. Like, he's been poor the last few games, but like, you're always going to suffer a dip in your form. The issue isn't that Rashford's going through a rough spell now. The issue is Martial and Greenwood haven't stepped up. Rashford has 15 goals in 33 games this season, so that's almost 1 and 2 from a wide position. That's really good. He has 10 assists as well, so he has 25 goals and assists in 33 games. I think you might have to check that. I think that's what it is. That's a really good return again. Like, it looks like he's kicking on. He's kicking on again after a good season last year. So I don't really think you can put the blame on Rashford. The blame really comes down to Martial and Greenwood. And I don't want to pile on Greenwood because he's still only 19. Like, this is just a typical second season syndrome he's having, and he's gone through some personal things. So I don't want to be harsh on him, but
yeah,
I like Martial. I really like him, but like, at the big age he's at now, he can't go back. Like, he's not a child anymore. He kicked on last season. Last season was his first season starting as a 9. That's where he wanted to play, and he done well, especially after the lockdown. He done really well. So he absolutely cannot go this backwards at this stage. Like, he can't take this big a step back this stage in his career. At the very least, he needed to put up the same numbers this year as he did last year, if not more. And that's the biggest thing that's killed us. Like, because we were saying for the first half of the season, it was Bruno and Rashford just carrying our attack. They were the ones mashing. They were the ones putting up the numbers. Like, the rest weren't. So you're thinking, surely, like, they were obviously, like, it was bound to happen. The two of them would have a dip in form, which is fair enough. But then you're banking on the rest of your forwards stepping up, and they just haven't. Like, and that's what's killed us the last few weeks.
Yeah, it really has. And there's a comment in there from Reese in terms of the game. Like, Reese says, the best chance ultimately fell to Arsenal, the free kick that hit the other bar. Other than that, both sides were poor. Cavani had a few, etc. Need to work on being clinical, but not as bad as people think. Then we have another two comments in from Reese with regards to this situation as well. Reese said our front three had combined more goals than Liverpool last season. It's scary how far we've dropped goals-wise. And then again, we had another comment from Reese in with regards to it. Our front three had more than Liverpool. It's like, yeah, like last season when you look at the combined goals, our front three, he's absolutely right, did have more goals than Liverpool. And when you do look at it, like, we discussed this on this show like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We said, obviously, we both agreed, like, Bruno and Rashford.
It's been common, man. Like, it's been
more or less
like,
been carrying us this season. And then you obviously, like, we both said, obviously, with Martial, Greenwood, Cavani, once they start banging in the goals, then, we're laughing.
We were being really optimistic about it. Like, we are thinking, like, oh, we're already top, and Martial and Greenwood haven't got going yet. Like, I was banking that they would pick it up, and they haven't picked it up before the other two have dropped off, and now it looks like it's killing us. With that comment there, that we need more, I agree with that. I think we're getting better at playing out from the back against the press, but at times we're still too slow, especially when a team sits off. We just move the ball too slow in the first phase, and it's fine. Like, I get, like, the players want to be relaxed and all that, but when you're moving the ball that slow, you're allowing teams to get set. And, like, the fact is, like, almost all our back four, it's never done in one touch. It's always 2 or 3 touches and then pass it. And it's little things like that add up and let a team get set. But sorry, I probably went off topic there.
Yeah, but like, look, with regards to that, you're absolutely right. Like, I think we're getting better playing off in the back. I think we're building it in that regard. And we've a question for Reese with regards to this. I'm gonna bring this to both you, Shane, and I'll answer it next. It says question for you, Keane and Shane. Do you think the lack of goals is down to lack of creativity, or because we are asking too much of our centre forwards, Cavani out wide, etc., instead of being central?
It's weird. I think it's kind of a bit of both, to be honest. Because, like we were saying, in the Sheffield game, we created nothing. Like, I don't feel like I can't really remember any good chance we had. And then in the Arsenal game, we created a few. Like Cavani and Rashford, the ball both fell to him inside the 6-yard box on 2 different occasions. Like, so it's weird. Like, I don't know, like, it's really just, I can't look past Martial, because Martial usually is a good finisher. Like, he usually is clinical enough. It's his movement that he doesn't get. Like, the story of Martial used to be like, he doesn't get a lot of chances because his movement isn't great, but he tends to finish most of the ones you get. And Cavani is like the opposite. Cavani gets bags of chances because his movement is brilliant, but he misses loads as well. He's never been a clinical striker in his career, especially at PSG, but you forgive him because his movement was so good. He was getting loads of chances, so he put enough of them away. So, like, I don't know what the problem is. Like, you kind of have to look at both, like, because there is a lot of games where we just don't create enough. We move the ball too slow, and it's all lethargic, and then it looks so aimless. And then it's either Pogba or Bruno or Rashford just creating something now and nothing, and then we score. And then there's times then where, like, we kind of are playing well in spurts, and we're creating 2 or 3 chances, and we're missing them. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of a both. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's
I'd agree. Like, I think when you look at some games, we're creating a lot of chances and there's not putting them away. And in other games, then, as we seen the Sheffield United game, and I even look back to West Brom. Remember, we only won 1-0. Like, there were games where we didn't create too much, and it was just moments, as Gary Neville would say, moments in the game, that we scored goals.
The Liverpool game, we didn't create much, but we created 2 really, really good chances, and we missed them both. The whole team isn't clinical enough, but we don't create enough chances every game. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's too many games where we just struggle to break a team down, and we don't put them under enough pressure. But then there's also times where we do create. So it's really fucking frustrating. It's not one or the other. Like,
yeah, absolutely. There's a comment from Jamie. Jamie says, Boy should start tonight. Che Adams is quick and moving is clever. We've Adams and you've also Danny Ings as well. They play a 2 up there. They both give us something different to worry about. So, yeah, we'll get to start 11 predictions later on the show. But Eric, I think we can both agree Eric Boy should start tonight if fit.
Whenever he's fit, he should just play because he's the best defender at the club. Yeah.
100%. We've a comment in here, and I was going to pose this question to Shane. It says, "What's our best midfield trio?"
I don't know. So I always change my mind on a game per game basis almost, because I don't think we have a lot of depth in midfield, but we just don't have the blend right. We really need a DM. Like, Bruno is fine in the 10. Pogba is okay in the middle, but then we kind of need a good DM, and we don't have one, like, because Matic's legs are gone, and that's why Fred and McTominay play together, because the 2 of them together, like, do the job of one DM. Like, so it kind of just depends on the game, because whatever trio we have, it's never ideal. But my go-to, like, I don't know, it's tough. Like, I always change my mind. I would have said Matic, Pogba, Bruno, but then after the Sheffield game, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that was really poor. Like, we don't move the ball quick enough with them. And then Fred, so I'm kind of leaning, I don't know, to be honest. I think it's flip-flop between Fred and McTominay. It's a toss-up between Fred, McTominay, Pogba and Bruno. But neither of them is ideal.
For me, I'd go, because this midfield for me would be our best trio if we started it. I think Fred can probably do the job of a DM. If against the smaller teams, this is the team I'd play. I'd play Fred, Pogba and Bruno. That's the midfield I'd go. I think that's our best trio if you play the midfield 3 on its own. I think, like, Fred can cover the spaces. He breaks up play. He has legs in midfield. His tenacity is very good. Obviously, Pogba then in the pivot beside him in the box-to-box kind of role. And then, obviously, look, Bruno Fernandes. We all know how much I praise him a lot. Like, hasn't been playing the best in the last couple of games. But for me, again, like, we've seen the impact he's made in the last 12 months. Like, we're on 1 year anniversary of Bruno Fernandes. And I remember me and Shane were actually talking a year ago. Remember, Shane, before we signed him. And I said to you, there's a Portuguese lad we're after from Sporting Lisbon, Bruno Fernandes. He's a good player, like, and we're linked to him. It's looking close. And I said to Shane, like, we need to watch out for this man because he's a very good player now. I didn't foresee how good he'd actually be for the club. But I remember saying to you, like, last year, it was like, yeah, geez, like this player Bruno coming in, I think he could be good for our midfield. But yeah, look, that'd be my best midfield three with regards to it. Another question in from Jamie with regards to Martial. He says, question, would you be bothered if Martial left the club?
I like Martial, but like, he's actually a bastard for this season. Like, he's let me down so much. How can you go this far backwards, like, at this stage of your career? It's proper killers. Like, I'd like Keane because I do think there's still a good player in him, but it's kind of hard to defend keeping him, like, you know, unless, like, especially if you're going to bring in someone like Sancho, like, because I think the plan is, that the club will probably go back into Sancho in the summer, and I think long-term Greenwood is a 9. Do you know what I mean? I think Martial is always just, he's just there to fade. He's going to be phased out for Greenwood long-term anyway. So I don't know, unless you keep Cavani next year and then just let Greenwood be back up to him, and you move Martial out and you bring in Sancho or something.
Yeah, I agree. I think, look, I'm not going to jump in on that Sancho train because I had people who are supposedly in the know. Remember this during the summer that were messaging me about Sancho and saying that the deal was done, and my heart was just broken. We didn't sign him, so I'm not putting myself through. I'm not putting myself through that saga again. If he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But there's a comment in here from Reese. Reese says, "I would just a little as we have no quality to come in. If Rashford got injured, that plays that position effectively. But if we can sign someone if necessary."
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like,
even just there for depth, like.
Yeah, that's the thing. But like, even we're going to get to it now, just with regards to Amad Diallo, Shane, because Amad Diallo, me and you have been talking so highly about this man. You are not a man yet. You're still a young boy, still 18 years of age. Coming into the club this weekend, and like, he's played fantastically against Liverpool, scored a well taken finish, 1-on-1 against the keeper, and also, can I just say, a Panenka against Liverpool in your first game. What a fucking way to start off your Manchester United career. But just in terms of the Amad Diallo rival, Shane, do you maybe think he's that option for right wing? If we can bed him in gradually, and maybe Greenwood goes in as that number 9. Do you maybe think maybe not this season, obviously, but maybe in the next season or mid next season? Do you maybe think Diallo can be an option for that right wing to facilitate Greenwood moving into that number 9? Because I think long term Greenwood is our number 9 ahead of Martial.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely not a winger. Diallo's mad, like, because he looks really refined already. So, like, technically he looks really smooth. He doesn't look raw or anything. It's just physically he's so light. Like he's so skinny, but his frame is small as well. Like, he's built kind of like Mata or Bernardo Silva. Do you know what I mean? That he's real small and light as well. So it kind of depends if he can bulk up between now and the end of the season. But technically, he already looks brilliant. Like, he just looks so smooth and easy on the eye, and he looks really good, man.
Yeah, I think, look, he's someone who I think, like, when I looked at the way his playing style on Saturday, watching him, as you said, he's refined. He has that close control, very good feet. I seen him at one point, he had like 5 Liverpool players in the corner. He just made them all look like fools. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was fantastic. And to see kind of like, if he can build up a bit physically, I think he'd be prime for that first team. You know, I think Solskjaer said in his press conference yesterday that Diallo, like, it's not going to be long before we see him in the match day squad. So, like, for me, if I have to break that down, I think Diallo maybe next season could be a right wing option, and maybe we see, like, obviously Cavani's going to sign in his year. As far as I know, that's going to happen. He's going to sign a year extension, and do we maybe get Mason Greenwood as their number 9, which I think, look, long term is the right thing to do. we've a thing here, a comment in here from Reese with relation to our system. And this is actually a system that I'm going to play. It's actually my team in my starting 11 predictions later on the show, but Reese hit the nail on the head. This is my thinking. He said, do we think we should look changing system, forget using wingers and use attacking midfielders as wide players? Van de Beek either side of Bruno Fernandes and play Edison and Cavani up top. I think our fullbacks are good defensively, but if you're going to do that, I think we play a diamond and we play split strikers. I think that's what we do if we're going to abandon the kind of the wingers, because you're technically like you're still playing the same system and it'd be kind of more of a square pegs round holes. Whereas I think if you're going to abandon the wingers, I think what you do is you go a diamond and you pack out your midfield and you keep the ball. Then obviously you have a Greenwood, a Cavani up there who can finish. Obviously Rashford's an option as well. And it gives Rashford the opportunity as maybe a left forward rather than left winger. Because I think Rashford's more of an inverted left forward than he is a wide player. In that respect. So I agree, Reece, in terms of like if you're going with the players we have, I think what you could do with that, because we have lack of width at the minute. Maybe you play the diamond and then you play two forwards up top. Both Cavani and Rashford who can drift into them little pockets of space as well. What do you think about that, Shane, like in terms of Reece's comment there?
I don't mind changing systems. I'm not that big of a fan of 4-2-3-1 anyway, but I'd probably lean more to 4-3-3 because I think we already struggle. We already struggle with our width a bit, So if you take the wingers out, I think our fullbacks, if the weight was providing the weight was solely on our fullbacks, I think they'd really struggle, especially Wan-Bissaka. But I know what you mean. Rashford's like more of an inside forward, like he's not a touchline winger, but I do like him being able to play in that half space and having that freedom and being able to like pull out wide if he wants and beat a man. And I like the idea of having Pogba, Rashford and Shaw all in that half space on the left. I think they combine really well. And I think if, say, Bruno would be the other midfielder on the right, that I think him being in that like segment would help Greenwood and Wan-Bissaka as well. But I just don't think our fullbacks have it to play a diamond to provide the width. Maybe Shaw would. Like last few weeks, it looked like he'd be fine, but especially at Wan-Bissaka. But I agree, a change of system would help us a lot. But the problem with 4-3, I think one of the United coach was saying, I heard someone say it, that the reason they don't like 4-3 is because they don't want the DM to be a trigger for a press. So I kind of get that because we don't really have a DM that's like really
DM. That's a simple answer.
Yeah. So like I think Matic is probably the most press resistant DM we have, but even then, does he have the legs to cover a single pivot? Like no. So
I think you bring in Declan Rice. As much as people if you watch the weekly armchair kickoff since we started, I made my feelings known about Declan Rice. But he's a fantastic footballer. I think to facilitate a DM, I think Declan Rice would be the perfect person there. He's been playing fantastic for West Ham. Look at West Ham are on the table this season. He's been a large part of that. Declan Rice has.
He's improving a lot on the ball as well, I think, to be fair.
He has a decent range of passing as well. I think
what I like is he's a good ball carrier. Like the ball falls to him and he can like break a tackle or two, carrying the ball up the field a bit. And I think that's massive. I don't think we have at the end. McTominay can kind of do that a bit, but he's not as good as him, and he's not as good as Rice, and he doesn't do a lot of other things as well as Rice either. So I think he'd be brilliant sign for us. I think him and a winger, preferably Grealish, but it'd probably be Sancho. Him and Sancho in summer would be brilliant. I think that's really probably the two biggest needs we have is a winger and a DM. Because I just think if we got a really good DM, that would help our defense a lot. Loads.
Yeah, absolutely. I just could get through a couple of comments here just with relation to this. Dermot has said Haaland has a release clause in 2022. I think, look, as Reece said in the comments there, if Mino Raiola wasn't his agent, I think that's a no-brainer for Man United. I don't think, Mino Raiola, I don't want to deal with him anymore. I know, Shane, we disagree with this at times, but Mino Raiola, no. There'll be another comment in here from Dermot. Dermot says, give Diallo his debut in the FA Cup against West Ham. That's not a bad shout. I think that's actually bang on. I think that's what could possibly happen. Imagine we have a little Cristiano kind of moment when he comes off the bench. Scott, like, remember Nicky Butt came off and was Ronaldo coming on. Just imagine, right? I'm just going to paint the picture for everyone in the comments. Let me know if you like this situation. I'm not liking this player to Nicky Butt, but it's a workman player like a Nicky Butt was, like a workman-like player. So imagine Scott McTominay comes off after putting in a great shift in midfield. Then you see Diallo's number up on the substitution board, and he comes on and just absolutely tears West Ham a new one and celebrates in front of David Moyes. You know, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I think, look, in terms of giving Diallo his debut, I think that's actually a great shout, Dermot. I wouldn't disagree with that too much. I think that could be a massive possibility. We've commented in from Jamie with regards to this as well. He says, but we all know Ollie will stick with the 4-2-3-1 with wingers. Look, I think that's a harsh reality at the minute. Interesting one here for Reese with regards to the system. I was going to get this comment up now because the comments are flying in at the moment. I'm liking this, lads. I'm loving the conversation. Get them comments in. It's a great discussion we're having here on an afternoon show, which is absolutely fantastic. I do appreciate everyone tuning in. Commenting from Reese. Reese says, maybe switch to 3-4-2-1 perhaps. Boye, Maguire and Shaw as the back three. Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Telles playing wing back. Duo of Fred and Van de Beek perhaps. Two wide players, Pogba and Bruno as wide cams, and Cavani. Shane, I'm liking the sound of that. That's actually just imagine with Pogba and Bruno, them two little pockets there, and fucking it gives them the opportunity, I suppose, to pick up them little pockets of space and create chances. Do you know what? I think, Reese, you've given me an idea of what I'm going to play in seasons later in FIFA. I think I'm going to try that formation. See how we get on. I think I'm going to try that. But yeah, look, it's not a bad show. Again, Ollie, does he try that? I don't know, because Van de Beek, does he play Van de Beek? I think we have to wait for Pogba to leave the club before we see Van de Beek get a start.
I can't see him leaving out Rashford either, to be honest. I think Rashford has to play. I think Rashford's like one of our best players. Yeah, see, Rice only wants the Chelsea move, but Chelsea don't want Rice now. Do you know, I think, yeah, if it was up to Rice, you go to Chelsea, but I don't think Chelsea are going to go in for him now since Lampard is sacked.
The comment in from Jamie with regards to, well, Wilfred Ndidi, who we should get, but that won't happen, or either Zakaria. What do you think about Zakaria, Shane? I've
never watched him. I heard good things about him, but I don't want Ndidi, to be honest, because I already think we struggle by not having a DM that is comfortable taking the ball from the back four. And I think Ndidi's really good defensively, but I think he's really bad at taking the ball off the back foot. I don't think he's comfortable enough in possession. I think if we sign Ndidi, it would just be a Schneiderlin 2.0.
What do you think? Reese comment here. He says, thoughts on United making inquiries on Pedro Goncalves. I think that's how you pronounce it. Excuse my English there, it's very bad. 53 million release clause, plays right wing or centre midfield. Currently league's top goal scorer, 15 goals. Look, if any player comes from Sporting Lisbon, usually they're good. Nani, Ronaldo.
I've never watched them, but it's from Sporting, fucking shoot.
Absolutely. More comments in here. So we have Jamie has said, or a dream and sign Kimmich. Hey, look, if Man United sign Kimmich, that'd be a fantastic signing. That would be a great one. Reese has said, Zakaria or Lamer. I'd like, as we won't get Tonali. Ndidi is class. Yeah, Sandro Tonali, that recently went to AC Milan. He's a fantastic young holding midfielder. Remember, I said, Shane, remember in the summer, it's like, that's a 19-year-old. Mark Goldbridge calls him the Italian Roy Keane. Mark Goldbridge called him that in his FIFA watch along or whatever you call it, the career mode. Italian Roy Keane, but Tonali wouldn't be a bad signing. Reese has said Kimmich will be a god.
Kimmich very good. People forget that Kimmich was keeping Thiago out of that Bayern team last year. Like, Thiago wasn't one of the first names on the team sheet last season. I know he started in the final and he was brilliant in the final, but Kimmich was ahead of him in the pecking order.
Yeah, and Thiago then, like, look, let's be honest. Thiago this season with Liverpool only looked good against Villa's under 14 teams. So, like,
yeah, he's looking funny in the end of league. He's looking funny. I think that's one to watch. An agenda going on him soon, I think.
So Reese, I know you're very prominent on social media, as you are, Jamie too. As you all know, with me and Shane, we do like to develop agendas against rival fans and rival teams. So look,
It
if we can
is
get
what
a
it
clip going of
is.
Thiago's best bits for Liverpool, guys, let's get that agenda going, because they seem to have an agenda against our man Bruno. So let's get that Thiago agenda going. But anyway, I don't promote any social media violence, so please do it responsibly. So obviously, Shane, since we talked about the recent signing of Diallo, and he's a young player. I just want to kind of talk to you about our recent loanees going out recently, because Ethan Laird gone to MK Dons, Ted Mengi yesterday gone to Derby County, and James Garner gone out on loan as well. Chong was gone out on loan as well. And it seems like we're getting all kind of these young prospects who are nearly prime for the first team, but it looks like we're getting them out on loan this season. Like, what do you make of United's recent kind of loan strategy? It kind of seems to be better than it was in recent years.
Yeah, it's nice to see him go out and get the game time. There's one or two where I feel like they're already at the level they could be getting minutes in the squad. Like Laird is probably the first one that comes to mind, that I think he looks like he's probably ready to be getting minutes in the first team, especially since we don't really have a lot. Especially like Williams seems to be the backup right back, and I don't really think
he was playing centre half on Saturday.
Yeah, he was poor for the second Liverpool goal, I think, in the first half. But I don't know, like I prefer to have Laird in the squad than Williams, and I'd like to see Garner as well start to get minutes in the first team. Apparently, he's doing well at Watford, but I haven't watched him, to be fair.
He's gone to like Nottingham Forest now or something, though. I think
if
I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. So I think he's gone to Forest or someone like that on loan, because Watford manager came in and wasn't playing him.
I think Mengi going to Derby is a good loan for him as well. I think Pelestri as well has gone out to some Spanish team as well, I think, isn't it?
Come in here for Reese. Well, I watch AC Milan. Mark Goldberg is so wrong. Tonali's second coming of Pirlo. Haha. Thiago from world class to Scouts bench. Oh, stop.
Yeah, Mark Goldberg chat shit.
Hey, come on. We won't chat shit about anyone now here. We won't chat shit about anybody here. We chat shit about like rival fans, so we won't chat shit about our own. Even though, like, look, I like Mark. He does decent work with the United Standies after creating like a good platform over there. Fair play to him. Yeah. But look, this is what all these shows are about. They're all about like a matter of opinion, like, and we mightn't agree with some opinions other people say, like, even you, like, sometimes we disagree too, like, like I know with certain comments, like you might like the player, but I might like a player. It's the great thing about all these shows, and it's a great thing about fan channels or podcasts or wherever you watch. It's great to kind of see everyone else's opinion, how they can be different and how differently people see the game, But look, I agree. I think with United's loan system, Shane, I think they're doing very well with it. I think it's what we're seeing coming out of Carrington again, like in terms of our young players, is fantastic. Like even Joe Hewhill the other day, like 4 goals, should have had 5. Ollie said.
There's some ballers in that United under 23 team, man. Hannibal, Shortire, Diallo, Galbraith. They all look class. Like they're all like I think them three it's only a matter of time before they start getting minutes in the first team, especially Hannibal. Hannibal is a glorified first team signing, and he cost 10 million, like, so.
When you look at Galbraith, though, I think that the sky's the limit for Galbraith. I think he's a fantastic midfielder. I really do. I think he's better than Garner. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I think I think he's better than Garner. I think he'd probably get in there before Garner will, I'd say.
The only thing Garner has on him is Garner's big for his age already, like, but I really like both of them. I think it's mad, like the United, all the midfielders coming from the United Academy, they're all really good technically, like, which is because usually England struggle to produce technically.
Well, that's what we're actually looking for, is technical DM. So, like, it's what we actually talked about. So maybe if Garner can maybe beef up a bit, Galbraith can beef up a bit, and then look, I think we have a good technical hold midfielder. Jamie said Sander Berg, if Sheffield United go down, I can see Ollie getting him. He won't be a bad shout. He's actually a good player. And like I think
Yeah, he
Sheffield
is, yeah.
but
He's I like him. Anytime I watch him, he's looked good. He's been injured a while now, I think, has he?
yeah, he's been injured there a while. Didn't
Yeah.
he? I think he got injured against us, weren't it? In the reverse game.
Yeah, I remember actually. He's more like a box to box than a DM though, is he?
He can play DM though.
Yeah,
but I think again that's where I think that's where we need a specialist. I think that's probably
But still, like, even like he's a good player, like, and I wouldn't say no to him, like, so it's good because we still do need some depth as well. But yeah, no, I like him. He's a good player.
Yeah, he is a very good player. I was getting to Reese comment here as well. Reese has said, the midfield youngsters we have is so refreshing. Galbraith, Garner, Levitt, Hannibal, etc. It's really refreshing to know that we have what we have, and if we don't sign any players, I agree. Like, look, we all know kind of we're not going to delve into it, but we do know our club in terms of transfers and how unreliable they can be. So, like, I think Ollie has like a lot of youths there that he can maybe rely on if we don't get a DM. I think he can maybe transition one or two of them to come in there. And I think it's very important that we do kind of utilize our youth, because it's one thing Chelsea done last season, Shane. Like, they went in there and they utilized a couple of their youth players like Tamori and Mason Mount and Reece James. I think United could do something similar with our youth system, because our youth system is unbelievable. Like, I'm
really impressed with him. Maybe it's just because the last year I've only been watching the youth football, United's youth, like the last few years, but the under-23 team, there's actually so many ballers and like Shortire as well. I think, is he only like 17, I think, but yeah, I think he's brilliant. Like.
Yeah, there's fantastic players. And look, I think when you look at maybe United's coaching staff, I know we're kind of having all kind of like United-based people in there, but if we can get like a good coach and that coaching staff who can help these players develop when they make the jump, I think that would be fantastic.
Nicky Butt's done a brilliant job. Like, I think he's not the coach anymore. Yeah, he's head of it all, and he's done a really good job. Like, our recruitment for the youth side is really good, man. Like, we just go about it like in such a good way that I wish the first team was the same. Like, we spot the talent and we just get him. We snap it up quick. There's no fuss about it. We get him in and just let him develop. Like, and I just wish we were as confident in the first team side of it as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And even when you look at I know this is kind of a show about the first team and kind of this week we have coming up. But one thing I'd like to highlight about the Liverpool game, if anyone did watch it, the under-23 game on Saturday, was the press of the 23s. Yeah. Their press was so good. Where you look at our first team's press is so half-hearted.
Yeah, the under-23s playing nice football. Like the last few weeks, they've gone off the boil a bit. They've lost a couple of games, but they're entertaining to watch. Like, and there's more. You can see the coaching in the way they play, and they do a lot of good things, and they just have some really good entertaining players there as well. I love watching the under-23s this year.
And Shane, there's comment in there. Thoughts on Pugmal? Do you think he could be a replacement for Juan Mata?
Yeah, I forgot to mention it. I think he's deadly, man. I fucking really like him. Like, and he was playing in a midfield. He was playing like in a double pivot against Liverpool, I think. So like, he can play kind of anywhere. Like, he can play as just an out-and-out midfielder. He can play off the left or right, or he can kind of play into space as well. He looks like a really good, well-rounded midfielder, similar to Matt. Like, I think similar to Mata would have the brain to play anywhere in midfield, but he wouldn't have like the physical gifts. Where I think Pugmal is like, he's kind of short, but he's way more beefed up than Mata is. Like, so I think he definitely be able to do it. I really like him as well.
Yeah, look, he's a very good technical player.
And I think he's strong as well. Like,
and the fact he can play across all midfield positions, that's very good. I just had to jump off the camera there for 2 seconds because I just turned off my heating because the radiator's behind me and I'm absolutely roasting. But I just had to jump off there for 2 seconds.
But under-23s, they have so many good technical players, like, and it's just I really like them, and there's so many nice players in there.
Yeah, it is, and as Reece said, like, I do agree. It's very refreshing to see that. Like, it's very refreshing to see that we've a great crop of talent. And dare I say, the last time we had this caliber of talent, and the last time we had this depth of talent, was back in 1992. Let's hope these players can reach that ceiling. But I'm not going to compare it to the class of 92 yet, but last time we had this depth. Well, I'll actually maybe even go back to say maybe 2011 when we had that U Cup winning team. With regards to it, Shane, do you know, has he signed a new contract yet?
I don't know. No, to be honest, I haven't looked into it.
And Shane, I think Reece shares your feeling. Every time he gets on the ball, I feel a buzz. He's so good technically and he's strong as well.
He just looks like he's technically sound, and he seems like he has the head of an older player. He seems like he has the head of an older player like that. He just seems assured and confident. He doesn't rush anything. He just seems smart as well, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. For people just watching the video, smash a like on the video. Keep getting your comments in. We're actually, I'm really enjoying the chat. Like 40 minutes in, and the chat is absolutely fantastic. Like this is a very interactive show, and I'm really liking this. And do share the video across your social media, Facebook, Twitter, across that side of things as well. Do subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow, we do have our first ever all-women's weekly armchair kickoff Premier League podcast. Rach and Amy from She Devils United will be featuring on here tomorrow. As you do know them, they feature on Mary's channel, She Devils United, a fantastic football fan channel. And as well, we've two other new women coming on, Becca Last and Jennifer Bryant. They'll both be on the show. So, do check that out. That's going to be a great chat tomorrow. Myself and Shane will both be tuned in the comments as always. Well, when we're not in the show, even though Shane likes to hijack the London Lowdown show as well, Shane likes to hijack the comments in that show. So, plenty of content coming this week. So, do subscribe. We cover all things Manchester United here, but we cover everything in terms of London clubs in the Premier League. We have a Premier League podcast. If you like a bit of MMA, we've MMA podcasts. You scroll back in the channel, you see we've had professional fighters and coaches on the show as well. And I realize there's a lot of new people in the comments today. So we have a bit of everything for everyone here on this channel. So do subscribe, do share the videos as well. It's a great platform we have here, and we're actually closing in on our 100th weekly armchair kickoff podcast video. Have a big guest lined up for that. So do stay tuned. Keep an eye on my Twitter. As you can see there, at Keane_United. We will have more to come. Shane, I suppose since it's match day today, and obviously, massive game against Southampton. For me, a bogey team since they got promoted. Since even when Sir Alex was here, they were a hard team to play against. Just kind of breaking down today's game, Southampton have they have a lot of good players in their team, but kind of take a look at the opposition for the minute, because I know we could talk about United till the cows come home. Do you know what I mean? That we're just United are our drug. Do you know what I mean? We're addicted to the club, but but when you actually look at Southampton, they've a fantastic team. They've done very well this season. They've great players like James Ward-Prowse, Danny Ings, Che Adams. And even their centre backs. I like Vestergaard. He's one of my favorite centre backs in the league to watch. As being a centre back myself, I appreciate a good centre back. I do like a good centre back. But for you, how would you assess the opposition yourself, in terms of their strengths?
They're a good team. They're one of the only teams I think that play a flat 4-4-2, and their press is really good. So I think that's probably the main thing to worry about. I think that's what killed us when we played them at the end of last season. Was we done well, I think, for the first hour or so maybe, and then we just couldn't deal with the press anymore. And then when you're not able to play out and keep losing like that, that's how pressure builds up, and eventually we buckled in the last minute or so. But I think that's what it'll come down to, if we're able to deal with the press or not. Because they play a flat 4-4-2, so if we can get out of that press, there's going to be loads of space in behind the midfield to get Bruno on the ball, or Rashford, or Pogba, or any of them. So that's the main thing. We are getting better at playing out against the press, but we still struggle to do it over 90 minutes. Because you can see, I think we done well doing it against Arsenal, and I think we done well in the first half playing out against the press, and then after maybe 50-60 minutes we kind of struggled. That's when they kind of got on top then, was when we weren't able to deal with it. So that's what I think the game is going to come down to. If our back four is sharp enough and midfield is sharp enough to get on the ball and beat the press.
Yeah, and I think their press is very good. One thing like we haven't even spoke about with Southampton is their set piece threat, not just some corners. Like because we
James
struggle with
Ward,
set piece to corners, but
yeah,
James Ward-Prowse from free
just
kicks
so
and corners
it's
he's a
just
gem.
cash
Like
money, like
he's cash money. Like and as
just
Shane
cash
said, I think
money over that ball. Like.
if do you know what I'm going to quote that on the Weekly Armchair Twitter page. You give the follow. It's at Weekly Armchair on Twitter. I'm going to quote that in one of the quotes on later on. James Ward-Prowse is cash money. He's a fantastic set piece delivery, and even they have options off the bench as well. They've Irish striker Joe Shane Long. They have Obafemi.
He's gone to Bournemouth now. I think into Long. He went to Bournemouth.
Is he gone? Is he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but yeah, they do have good options. Like the Ings and Che Adams are good. Like I really like Ings is deadly. Like you know what you're going to get, but I think Che Adams is really good as well. He's just a proper handful, and he links up play well, and he's fast and he's strong and he's good. He just does most things well. Like.
Yeah, and even Gineppo was a problem for us last time out as well. He was very good.
He was really good
in the last game. He tore us a new one. Then even Jamie says, "Yeah, Ward-Prowse probably score free kick tonight. We always give City free kicks away." Yeah.
He scores one every week at this rate. I think he's really good.
Form against Arsenal there because look, I hate Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, hopefully, look even. Oh yeah, look. Oh, Jamie's just brought something up that I actually wanted to bring up later on the show. Let's have a little chat about Minamino. Let's talk. So, again, obviously, both Jamie and Reese are on Twitter. I follow you both on Twitter. Fantastic, lads. If you've been on Twitter, lads, have you seen the tweets from Liverpool fans from 12 months ago? Minamino and Bruno and Minamino both signed for their clubs simultaneously, and Liverpool fans were saying that Minamino is a better player than Bruno Fernandes. Can people
I didn't realize that was a thing. That's mad.
Shane, I'm going to tag you in these tweets later on, and we're going to because people know in the last few weeks I've been coming for everyone who've been badmount Bruno Fernandes. I've been collecting checks in the last kind of couple of weeks. I've been collecting this debt. But there's Liverpool fans out there who legitimately believe that Minamino is a better player than Bruno Fernandes. I think that's slander. I think that's incorrect. And I think we all need to kind of realise that. I know we all talk about football opinion, and that's great, and everyone is entitled to their opinion, but so when you see ridiculous opinions like Minamino is better than Bruno Fernandes, I think you have to call that out. But that's just me. Yeah. But look, I think from a Southampton point of view, like they're a good team. They are where they are in their table. They are where they are in the table because of their quality in the squad. I think Ralph Hasenhüttl, I think that's how you pronounce it.
He's a good coach.
He's a very good manager. Imagine they got bet 9-0 off from Leicester City, and then they get beat 9-0 from Leicester City, and then rebuild the way they have.
Since then, they've been really good, man. Ever since that, not the 9-0.
Yeah, ever since the 9-0, they've been absolutely. They've been a fantastic team, and look, I have a lot of admiration for their club. I like the way they're run. I think I think they're a great team, and I think they're just fantastic. I'll just retweet the show. Do smash a like on the video, guys. Do get your comments in. I'm enjoying the chat here this afternoon. Reese, I love it. Look, Reese has just said Minamino better signing, gone from the club. Jamie has also said
that's so shameless if people were saying that, because most people had never watched Minamino and never watched Bruno before they signed. So then to be saying, one is better than the other is stupid. Especially you're saying Minamino is better. It's stupid. There's nothing to say. There was no evidence.
Well, look, to be fair, if you I watched Bruno before in Europa League before, right? And I seen how good he was, but obviously not as good as he became to be United. But I've seen that he's there. Hence why United paid £47 million for him. Whereas Liverpool paid 7.5 million for Minamino off the back of one good game, the Champions League against Liverpool.
About 7 million so much.
If that's the case, you wanted buy a player on the back of one good game against Liverpool. Why didn't Liverpool buy Demba? Do you know what I mean? Because Gerrard slipped. Do you know what I mean? Again, but look, I'm not going to go on a witch hunt here against Liverpool because again, this is the United show, not the Scout show. But anyway,
fuck them guys.
with regard to Southampton and Ralph Hasenhüttl. And Jamie said, can you see Hasenhüttl at a big club still?
I could see him like I'd imagine like he's doing really good at
I think
Southampton.
Leicester. If Rodgers goes to like a different club, I could see maybe Leicester going in for him.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like he's surely going to get a bigger job soon enough if he keeps this up. So probably Leicester or maybe Arsenal, but I think what could happen is Rodgers will probably go to Arsenal sooner or later if Arteta doesn't work out. But they probably be only two in England. Like I would think of. I couldn't see Manchester United, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea.
Yeah, like I don't think I don't think he'd go to United. Even though, like, look, he's a good tactically, plays attacking football, plays for the press. He'd suit our club, but again,
the team is like that's probably like the biggest. It's one of the biggest compliments you can pay to a manager. Like, is that his team does look well coached. Like everything they do, you can see it's something like the manager's worked on with him. Like his team really reflects him and his ideas.
Yeah, and then Reece said there, Jamie, I reckon Liverpool might get him. United get Nagelsmann in 3 years, bit of a reunion. Hey, look, I'm all for Nagelsmann at Manchester United. I'm all for that. But again, I do support Ollie. I support Ollie until the day he leaves the club because again, like what he's done for a club. I'm not one that people.
I'm Ollie in until I'm Ollie out.
What?
I'm Ollie in until I'm Ollie out. I just go with the flow.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. I'm Ollie in until eventually the day he leaves the club because look, I love him. I know I love Ollie might cloud my judgment sometimes, but look, I love Ollie. I'm not afraid to admit that.
I was screaming Ollie out, and then we found ourselves at the top of the table, and you didn't hear a peep out of me until we lose tonight, and then I'm like, see how it goes.
Yeah, look, Mauricio Pochettino lost to Leyton Orient the other night in the League One, so look, we won't go there. But
yeah, fucking hell, like. I've been clamoring for Poch for the longest, like, and if he's looking funny at PSG, like, do you know, it's funny, like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just want to shout out to I just want to just mention something here. See the way we all like. I guarantee, like, I want Jamie's and Reese's opinion on this in the comments as well. But remember about 2 or 3 years ago, we had arguments about Jose Mourinho and kind of how good or bad he was doing with the club, and United fans were split. Have you noticed there Jose Mourinho is having his season 3 in season 1.5 at Tottenham? It's fantastic to see, isn't it? Like, but
it's so funny. Like, I've seen this series before. I've seen this happen, and we tried Keane. We tried to warn him. We tried to tell him this was going to happen, but they didn't listen. They didn't want to listen because Son and Kane were doing a madness, and they just wanted to ignore everything else. And now Harry Kane is injured, and the goals seem to be drying up a little bit, and they seem to be leaking. And you know, it was always going to happen.
It was always going to happen. So just to say again, I'm going to pick up the mic for this. If you smell, you were fucking right. But anyway,
they're getting third season Mourinho in his first full season, like.
That's fantastic. That just proves again Jose Mourinho is Finnish. And look,
we don't.
Oh, stop! This is brilliant. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, look,
it is so funny. Like,
I know this United show, but like, I did like we've been texting about this, but I had to get this out live. We fucking told you so. We told you so.
It is funny, like, because they're all like, yeah, but I don't know. Like, they're saying, I seen a tweet that he's doing everything the fans want him to do. He's playing Bale, he's playing Rodon, and he's playing.
When your tactics are shit, it doesn't matter.
But like they're saying, oh, the fans want him to play them and they're shit. So what can he do? He signed them all. That man doesn't know what a good player even looks like anymore. You know, he doesn't have bad. He's signing shit players. He wants shit. Yeah, United, he wanted Perisic. He wanted Willian. Get the fuck out of here. He signed Matthews instead of Fabinho. Get this guy out of here. And you know what's happening? He's going to be sacked by Spurs, and then he's going to think, right, what's the next step down I can go?
The Ireland job.
He's going to go to someone like Everton, someone who's won even less than Spurs. And then he'll brainwash their fan base and he'll do the same again. It's a cycle.
Yeah, even Ralph Hasselholt and the Spurs would be a good one.
That's a really good show actually.
That's a great show, Reese. That's a fantastic show. But look, smash a like on the video if you think Jose Mourinho was finished. But anyway, back to Southampton and back to the game itself. I know like we've had a bit of banter in the last couple of minutes and it's been great and I love it. And I love the banter side of this show. Don't mind my hair. I'm going to shave my head. It's a mess. But look, in terms of the game itself, in terms of starting 11 predictions, I'm interested to hear kind of your 11. Do you know, another comment in Reese before we get to the 11, he says maybe he gets sacked by Spurs, he returns to Porto. I don't think Porto would even take him. I
don't think they'll have him.
I don't think Porto would even take him. But look, in terms of United's 11, I'm just going to give my 11 first, and then look, I'll get your takes. I'm interested to hear kind of how you'd go tonight, considering kind of how we faltered in recent games. And if anyone else in the comments, do get your starting 11s in there as well. Very interested, very intrigued to hear everyone's like 11s. Go what you think we should go with. We're not going to go with the status quo of 4-2-3-1 McFred. Do you know? I'm kind of interested to see kind of everyone's thoughts in terms of starting 11. So I'm just going to go there first. My starting 11, I'd go with David De Gea in goal. I'm going with the Diamond, by the way, tonight. Because with their press in midfield, I think we need bodies in there. And look, I think we need to kind of abandon this 4-2-3-1 in certain games. I think this is one of them. So I'm going to go with the Diamond. I'm going to go with bodies in midfield. I'm going to go with David De Gea in goal. I'm going to go with Wan-Bissaka at right back through process of elimination because we know the right backs. And he actually played very well against Arsenal. I forgot to mention that. I thought he was quite good against Arsenal the other night.
Wan-Bissaka?
Yeah.
Fucker should have scored. Was that the Arsenal game, or am I mixing it up with the Sheffield game where he got the head?
No, it was the Arsenal game.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We should have fucking won.
Yeah, but look, it's by process of elimination he gets in there. But again, centre back Aaron, I'm going to go with Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire. As a centre back pairing, I think. Look, again, they both complement each other when they played beside each other. We went top of the table and we were thought we were going to win 21. So keep playing that partnership. And left back, and I'm going to label this now, the best left back in the Premier League this season, Luke Shaw. I think he's been fantastic since the arrival of Alex Telles. He's been absolutely fantastic going forward and defensively. I think defensively he's so refined at the moment. But shout out Shane to his attacking ability recently. Luke Shaw has been fantastic going forward.
We said this, I think, like months ago at the start of the season that it was like a mental thing with him. That like you can see he has it in him to do this stuff going forward, but I think like it's almost a mental thing since the leg break that he just wasn't willing to do it most of the time, like overlap and carry the ball. Like he's a good passer.
I'm water out with one of the comments here, and I'm going to throw this comment up on the screen just for you.
Fuck off, bro! It fucking kills me. Like what I was saying about Diallo, like that. He's really lightweight, and that's what's keeping me up. But Daniel James isn't much better. Like Daniel James, to be fair, is a bit beefier than Diallo, but he doesn't use his body well. Anyway, I just don't like. I get the idea of putting a quick player in. You know, if you're playing a team that's going to be higher up the field and they're going to press you, so there's going to be space there to release him. In theory, like that's a sound idea, but he doesn't do anything when he does get in them. Like when he does get in them positions, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't make use of it. Do you know what I mean? And it's not as a Greenwood or that is slow either. Like so, I just don't see the negatives outweigh. The bad outweighs the good with playing him, and I don't like getting onto him because he's still only like 21, I think, and he seems like a good lad, but he's just I just don't want to see him back here. I just don't want to see him there.
Yeah, neither do I. But look, if he starts, I'll support him.
Yeah.
He said at least if he starts, Cavani gets a whip. I don't know about that. I don't know. But I'll get to the rest of my team and I'll see if you agree. I'll get Reese's team up on the screen there as well. Holding midfield, I'm he played there against Everton, and I'm going to go with this as well in the diamond. I'm going to go with Fred and sitting in front of the back four. I think he can do a job screening Maguire and Boye, and the fact that he's Maguire and Boye, I don't think we need too much protection in front of the two of them because I think as a partnership they're quite good. Right side of the diamond, we're actually going to see him. Well, this is I hope. Donny van de Beek again. He deals well with the press. Good at transition.
Played really well against Southampton in the reverse fixture as well.
Yeah, he played really well in that game as well. So really well, yeah. Start. Very good player. I think we'll see more of him when Paul Pogba leaves, even though I know Shane doesn't want that to happen. He's Pogba FC. But
I think that's basically I think that is the story, though, that I think he probably knows that he won't get as many games as he should until Pogba's out. But I just hope that he isn't like the Pogba replacement because they're such different players. Like, I really hope it's him and another player. A more athletic option, like a more explosive option. Do you know what I mean? I just hope he's one of two players to replace Pogba.
Pogba, like Van de Beek and maybe a Jack Grealish, probably. Someone in that ilk.
Yeah, or Samare for is it Lille? I haven't really watched him, but I just remember we are getting linked with him a while ago. But he's meant to be good, and I heard some people say he's similar to Pogba, but I don't know. I haven't really watched him.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, Donny coming into that team tonight, I think he'd be useful. Especially he deals well with the press. He looks after the ball very well. So yeah, and then left side of it, Labille. Paul Pogba, left side of that diamond. Again, fantastic player. And I'm going to say it, and Shane's going to love this because it's live. I think he's been our best player since Leipzig. And since the Leipzig fixture in the Champions League at the away game, since he came off the bench, I think Pogba's been quite consistent. He's been good more or less every game. He's been scoring fantastic goals. He's been doing great work offensively. But I want to shout out to Paul Pogba. Defensively, he's done great work as well. I think that's an underrated part of his game.
You can see he's invested. Like, you can see he's really invested in the team this season. Not that he hasn't in other seasons, but
this season, I think we're starting to see the best of him in the last kind of 2-3 months. I think
that's always the way Pogba's in. Like, the second we are getting closer to the top of the table, he just went up a level. Like, that's when he always plays his best, is when the pressure is on and the lights are brightest. Like, I remember France were favourites for the World Cup, and the pressure was on him, so he stepped up, and he's doing the same now. The second United were being linked at, people mentioned United in the title race, he stepped it up because he likes the pressure. He lives for it. Like, that's his bread and butter. He loves the pressure.
Yeah, and exactly. I think when the pressure's on, I think maybe if we can start getting more of them moments out of him, so be it. Like, I think if he leaves and we win something, fair play. In reference to what I said before, maybe that's why we inquired about Goncalves, which Keane pronounced perfectly. As he plays out wide, our centre midfield could do a job of Van de Beek if Pogba goes. Yeah, that's not a bad show.
Yeah,
good player. And like, look again, I pronounced that okay. So look, but that is that's always good. Shout out to Reese for letting me know that my English was good enough. Again at that stage. But in terms of the rest of our midfield, obviously in front at the tip of the diamond in that advanced role, my man, the best midfield player in the world in the last 12 months. Even though I said Pogba has been our best player since Leipzig, but we go an overall 12-month period since he's at the club, best midfield player in the world. My man, the Magnifico Bruno Fernandes, in that role. Again, look, that selection justifies itself. Hasn't had the best couple of games, but look, he's due a game now, isn't he? Like, Shane, he's due. He's due.
Yeah, I've seen something like he's blanked for 5 games in a row. It's his longest stretch. Like, he is due. He's due. Like, so you expect it. I can't see, like, he's in a bit of poor form, which is fair enough. Like, obviously your form is going to.
He's carried us.
Yeah,
he's carried.
You have to expect it like that. You know, your form happens to everyone. Their form dips throughout the season.
Look at Mo Salah this year.
Yeah. Keane, I just have to run to the toilet. I'll be back in 2 seconds, right? 2 seconds.
Yeah. No bother. So Shane's ran to the toilet. So in that regard, like, before I'm gonna hold off on my 2 kind of front players for kind of the the starting 11 predictions. I want to know if Shane agrees with it or not. But I was going to get the 2 comments there as well, just with regards to it. Jamie, in the score prediction for tonight, Jamie said 3-1 Man United. I don't know if that's 3-1 United or 3-1 Southampton. Jamie, give me more clarification with regards to it. Jamie has also said, would you still take Jack Grealish in the summer? He can play out wide as a 10 and as an 8. Look, it makes sense. Like, when you hear that saying, if it makes dollars, it makes sense. Like, I think Jack Grealish, like, that signing makes so much sense. Even if we don't sell Pogba, that signing makes sense. I think, like, when you look at Jack Grealish's qualities, like, as Jamie has rightly said, he can play out wide, he can play as a 10, he can even drift into a number 8 role. He's the man. I think he's
just
he's a very good player.
He's just such a creative.
Just to give you an update, Shane, right, in the comments, right? Jamie said 3-1 for tonight. So I questioned Jamie. I wanted to make sure he's on his toes here. He said 3-1 tonight, right? And because it just because I get the comment on the screen there for you, Shane, right? But he said 3-1 tonight. And I was unsure, was that Southampton or Man United? So of course I knew it was going to be United, but I had to make sure Jamie was on his toes. Make sure, so like, look, yeah, I do agree with Jack Grealish, a great signing. Also Grealish wants to move Quintel. He wanted that move last summer.
Yeah, he's slotting for United, man. I remember last year, and he put up the picture of him celebrating at Old Trafford when he scored. That, and he was like, "Oh, my favorite place to play." I was like, he fucking wants it. Like, come on, man. We need to go and save him. We need to pull him out of that place.
Yeah, I think he needs to come to the club. He needs that. And as Reece said there, I was against Grealish, but ever since I've had CMs and Cams as wide players, I'm all for it. Yeah, look, I'm all for Jack Grealish, even though I think Shane knows my previous feelings on Jack Grealish with the whole Ireland situation. But look, I'm willing to sell my country here because Ireland are never going to win anything anyway. So, like, look, I'm willing to put my feelings aside in that regard. Hence why I said Declan Rice should come as well. And Jamie said Jack Grealish loves Old Trafford. Yeah, look, I won't blame him. Fantastic place to be. Even though I remember the last time I was there with Shane. I never seen Shane, this man, close to tears until I seen him in the Stretford End when Bernardo Silva and Raheem Sterling had that ball in the corner at time. I never seen Shane close to tears in my life until that moment.
It was tough. It was tough. Mourinho did it for me.
But remember our little fan cam moment after that then? That was... I'm going to post that screenshot up after this game. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about there. But yeah, like, look, I think Jack Grealish come to Man United would be a fantastic signing, and it's someone who I'd love to see in terms of style of play, in terms of... I said this on Adam's show, Mad Red United. Do check out that channel. I said on Adam's show that Jack Grealish epitomises what a Man United player is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you know when, like, I know it's cliched, right? But you know, like a Man United player.
I think what it is that he played in the lower leagues with Villa, like, and in his career, so he's been toughened up, like, so he has that. He has
arrogance. I think he has the arrogance of a United player. I really think he does.
Yeah, he does, and it's not like them like workhorse players where people are like, oh, he's not a passion merchant, like, but you can tell he has that toughness to his game, as well as all the quality in the world. Like, he's just, I don't know, and he doesn't. He can just kind of do it all. Like, the way United play. Like the way United play, everything's kind of off the cup. We don't have like a really strict system. It's kind of just the best players. Our best players are our best players because they'll create something out of nothing. And I just think Grealish just fits that. Like, he doesn't need instruct. He doesn't need his role refined. Like he can do it. He like some hero boy kind of shit. Like, he can just do it by himself if he wants. So that's why him or Sancho, I'd be delighted with, but I prefer Grealish if it was up to me. But I'd be happy with either. But I fucking love Grealish. I think Grealish is in the running for Player of the Year as well, especially if Villa are in around where they are now. If they're around there at the end of the season, then he probably might be favourite. Like.
Yeah, look, and Jamie said we're not going to spend 100 million.
I think we'll be priced out of the move for Grealish, but I think Sancho, if we are willing to pay 80 million for Sancho last summer, he's not going to cost.
Apparently, his price is going down as well this summer.
Yeah, if we're willing to pay 80 million last year, I think we'll be able to afford him. Like, in hindsight, if we get this summer, Woodward's played a fucking blinder. Like, jokes, he didn't give in to Dortmund last year. Fair enough, and because like his form has been not as good this year, but you can kind of excuse that as in like he doesn't want to be there. Like, he wanted his move in the summer, and Dortmund need the money now than they did last year. So I think we'll be able to afford Sancho. I think we'll probably be priced out for Grealish because he's going to cost maybe above 100 million. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I think Villa will try price. So even though if I was Jack Grealish, get that transfer request out, buddy. Do Wayne Rooney. Do it, buddy.
And refuse to play.
Do it. I'm just going to get to one final comment just to get my two forwards here. If Dortmund miss out in Champions League football this season, then they'll lose 100 million. Yeah, I think they'll need to be recouping some loans, won't they? I've heard Jack Grealish plays different positions too. I don't see Dortmund getting top four, so they need to try win it. Yeah, look, they'll have to win the Champions League, even though I think we're just as likely to see Arsenal win the Premier League than probably that happened, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? That there's probably more chance than that happening. I think Dortmund won't win the Champions League. But anyway, in terms of the rest of my starting 11 predictions, since Shane came back from his Scott McTominay toilet break, I'm going to skip my two forwards. Shane, I'm going to let you know now, I've dropped Marcus Rashford for tonight. I think he needs a rest. And I think, look, on current form, I'm playing the diamond. I'm going to play the split strikers. I'm going to drop Rashford for tonight, but if needs be, like we've seen against Leipzig, he can come on and make a difference. And in many games this season, I've gone with Cavani and Greenwood up top as my two strikers. I think Martial needs a mental health break, not even so much as a break from his form. I think he needs a mental health break. I think the man doesn't look there mentally. And I think, for me, I think mental health, and you see the abuse he's getting online, which it's uncalled for. All this abuse, all these social media fucking warriors out there. I've got it. I've got it on my side. I've got it even before I was doing these podcasts. I've got abuse on social media. I can't imagine what a footballer gets. That's on a much larger scale. These little social media warriors need to be fucking stopped. And just the abuse that Marcus got, the Martial's got, and Tuanzebe has got in the last week and a half. It's scandalous. And
it's mad, like these young fellas, these young people on like social media, and they're so like their condition think it's so normal to like a player doesn't play well for your club, and they think it's so normal that they can go in and racially abuse him like that. And it's so fucked up, like, and it's because it's so
James, well, Jamie's pointed out there as well, yeah.
It's so many black players get it, like, and it's just so fucking strange, like that they think it's so normal, because you think like the younger generation would have more cop on, like, but it's all this football Twitter kind of generation that just do it for the interactions, like, you know, it's fucking mad. The racism in football is still rampant as fuck, and like you even see it in the media. Like, obviously the people in the media are more subtle about it than 12 and 13-year-olds on social media, but it's still so rampant in football today. It's fucking mad.
Yeah, it is. And like when you look at these, like Jamie's pointed out there in the comments, like little scumbags sat behind a phone or a laptop need photo ID for social media. Look, I've been behind that for years. I think like that's something in terms of social media, that'd be something for me that I'm totally behind. We see these people. I'm going to call them little people. I'm going to call these people little people because that's what they are. You know, I think what needs to happen here is they need to be extinguished from social media. And these same people I'm going to say it because when you look at the accounts that are abusing these people, they're not down as real people. They're hiding behind fake accounts, behind player pictures. You notice that? That's what they're hiding behind. So, do you know these same people then, on their own personal pages, they're probably the first people to be promoting mental health.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is where hypocrisy comes into the situation. So, look, for me, all the little people who are abusing these players, there's no room for your opinions in football or social media or any platform. So, for you, look, for me, and I think I speak for everyone when I say, just get the fuck out of Man United because you're not fans of this fucking club if you're doing that. Get the fuck out of our club. I know it's 3:15 in the day and I shouldn't be swearing on a show at this time in the day, but it's fucking justified. All you little scumbags, all you little fucking wannabes, get the fuck out of our club. So there's no room for you. We don't want you as fans of this club. And that's all I have to say about that. With regards to it. But look, I think for Martial, like Reese has touched on there, Martial, like he says, disgusting that Martial doesn't feel safe in his own home. Reminds him of Di Maria. Do you see the reports that Martial's looking for extra security at his home now because of all this stuff that's going on?
Yeah, it's fucking mad, man.
It really is. And look, all these little people, I can't stand them, Shane. I really can't. I really can't, because like people tend to forget footballers are humans too. Just because they make a large salary and they play football for a living.
Yeah, that's what drives me mad, is that when footballers get abuse like that, and people say, oh, well, if I was making that much money, I'd put up with that. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. You shouldn't have to put up with anything like that. You shouldn't, it doesn't matter how much money you're on. You still don't get to talk to someone like that. Like, and I get it. I do get it. Like, you'd be frustrated, like, if a player doesn't play well, and you might say something. Like, I called Martial a bastard at the start of the episode. But there's a difference between, you're just blowing off steam and then actually seeking out and throwing direct abuse at them. Like, you're hoping that they'll see it. And then to go one step further and you start going in about their race and that, it's just fucking tapped in the fucking head. Like.
Yeah, it's toxic. And as I said, it's not welcome. And we don't want you.
And it's upsetting, like, because a lot of people say then, like, oh, they're not real football fans, but they are. Like, that's the sad thing about it, is like a lot of football fans are like that. That's what, like, it's part of the culture in football. Racism's always been part of the culture of football, and it's still not after going away. Especially when you have the media as well that drive these agendas, and they're fueling it so subtly, like, and trying to get. They know what they're doing, like, it's fucking mad.
Yeah, it's disgusting, and everyone's been doing so much to try like promote like the fight against it, and then when you see all this bullshit that's going on, all these fucking little dickheads that are doing it, like it just needs to go. Like, and again, footballers are humans too, and like doesn't matter how much money they make, everyone has feelings, everyone has issues, and like look, it just needs to go from the game. It really does. Shane, but in terms, like, look, I know it's great that we touched on it and we've got our feelings out, like, in terms of the situation. Look, we, as always, like, we'll always support our club, and we'll never, like, if we have problems with a player's performance, we'll come on something like this and to rationally analyze the performance rather than go in on a player like these people do.
Yeah.
So, like, look, it's needless to say, like, that these people just need to go. But for you, in terms of tonight's game,
can I just say what it is? It's almost a lot of people are like, they're not even fans of football. They just want to be part of, like, football Twitter. They want to be part of something, so they just pretend they like football, so then they can all crack these jokes to get numbers off their little fucking Twitter friends. Like, that's what it is. That's what it is with young people anyway. Like, there are, like, older people that are, like, genuinely into football, and they're just raised because they've just, like, they've just all, that's what they know. Like, but then there's these younger people, and they're not even into football. They just want to have these followers on Twitter, and like, what's one of the most popular things on Twitter? It's football Twitter. Like, so I'm gonna pretend I like football so I can get interactions of these people I don't know, like, just looking for clout and shit.
Exactly. You've hit the nail on the head with that one, Shane. Absolutely. But, like, look, in terms of tonight's game, just kind of looking back on tonight's game for yourself, starting 11, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna go 4-2-3-1. I don't like it. Like, I prefer 4-2-3, but like I said, I think it's valid that they don't want to go a single pivot, because they can be used as a trigger for a press, and especially against Southampton, that is a good pressing team that I think they could really make use of that. So I go 4-2-3-1. I go De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka right back, Shaw left back, Boy and Maguire centre half. I think Maguire's done okay the last while. He always looks better when Boy is beside him, and whenever Boy is fit, he should play because he's just the best defender at the club. The two in the middle, I kind of feel, but I want to go Pogba and Fred. Maybe I'll go Pogba and Fred, because I just think, like, I wanted to go Matic because the press resistance, like, he kind of more assured against the press, but I also feel like he could just be run off the field. So I'll go with Fred just because he's more mobile, and I feel like he's more comfortable receiving off the back four than McTominay.
Yeah.
I do see Bell. I wouldn't mind having Van de Beek in there, but I'd rather play Pogba in the middle. But if he was to put Pogba left and Van de Beek in the middle, that's fair enough as well. I'd just go Pogba in the middle. I'd have Rashford left, and I'd have Greenwood right, Bruno through the middle, Bruno 10, and then I'd probably go Cavani. Like, it's the thing with Martial. That's like the biggest thing with Martial is like Cavani was brought in as a backup, and he's now like the starting striker over how poor Martial has been. And I don't even think Cavani has been like good for us really. Like, he scored a couple of nice goals, but it's not as if like he's been really clinical and he's bagging tons of goals. But it's even just little things like I don't like saying that Martial is lazy. I think it's more that he's just off the ball movement isn't as good as Cavani's. And Cavani, it's less so that Martial is lazy. It's more so that Cavani is just really good work ethic. Like his hold-up play wouldn't be as good as Martial's, but like he runs down all the balls, and he extends attacks by just like getting a foot in on the centre half or the DM and win the high up the field. And just the form Martial is in, and his confidence looks shot. Like, even against Arsenal when he came on, and he wasn't even trying that, and like, because his confidence just on the floor. So I think he could almost benefit from maybe not starting. All he needs to kind of put a hand around his shoulder, and hopefully that'll kind of get reaction out of him. Then, just throwing him back in, and just I was always for playing him and Green as much as possible, hoping that it would get him firing. It doesn't seem to be working, especially in Martial. So maybe just keep him out for a time, put the arm around the shoulder, and maybe that'll work then.
Yeah, I think that's Ollie's taken that approach with many different players, and it's worked. So I think maybe that approach needs to be taken with Martial as well. We've Reese is starting 11 here. He says, "I'll post again if I get my own way. De Gea, Boy, Maguire, Shaw, Armand Bissaka, Telles as wing backs, Bruno, Fred, Van de Beek, and Pogba attacking wide midfielders, and Cavani at number 9, 3-4-2-1." Again, Reese, I'm definitely trying that formation in FIFA later on. I'll let you know how I get on. I'll drop you a DM on Twitter, and I'll let you know how I get on with that one. In that regard. But yeah, look, I think with starting 11s, we both went to 2 different systems. Reese went to a different system, a different team. Jamie's went different team in the comments as well. Again, like, look, with Ollie, you just don't know what kind of team he's going to put out. That's, I think, one of the things he's done exciting this season is keeping us on our toes in terms of what team he's going to start. Even sometimes we might complain about the style of football, but one thing he has done, he's got us off our seats in terms of what fucking 11 he's going to play, in that regard. So he's like The Rock in WWE. If anyone here is a WWE fan, like The Rock, like when The Rock gets on the mic, when The Rock has the microphone, right, and he has you in front of the crowd, right, like he has you in the palm of his hand. I think that's where Ollie kind of has us at the moment, in terms of when his team, like an hour before the game, the team selection is about to get called out, like, in that regard. But Shane, we've actually been on this show an hour and 23 minutes. Hasn't felt like that. Like, the show has been absolutely fantastic. This is what I love about having the day off work. I can do a show in the afternoon, and it's great. And like doing it during the day, it's kind of have to kill an hour and 23 minutes. But so we're gonna get to the final part of the show. This is always great because this is always the part that gets clipped up. Is the score predictions. Now, for me, I'll be honest. Yesterday on Super 6, I done my Super 6 24 hours early. I done 1-1. I said 1-1 on my Super 6. But
that's funny. That's what I'm thinking is that.
But the thing about it is, 24 hours have passed. 24 hours has passed, and positivity has creeped back in my mind.
As kickoff edges closer, you start thinking with your heart more, and you get passionate and you get brave. Like, my head is saying, like, my head this morning was like, geez, we're gonna lose tonight, like, and now it's 3:30, and I'm like, yeah, probably 1-1. In an hour's time, I think we'll win 2-1, and 10 minutes to kick off, I'll be sure we'll win 4-0.
But I'm gonna get your score prediction, Shane. I'm gonna nail it down. How is this game going down today?
I think 1-0. I think 1-0, man. And if it does, we're kind of fucked. Like I said after the Arsenal game, that's probably killed our season. Because I think we're 3 points behind City and they have a game in hand, so it'd be tough to catch them. And then you have Liverpool looking like they're starting to come back into a bit of form. So maybe the Arsenal game is too early to say, but I think if we drop points tonight, I think that definitely kills our season, or at least kills the title race, which I do think inevitably will fall short of. But it's just nice to stay in it as long as we can. But I think if we drop points tonight, we're going to start have to looking back over our shoulders and worrying about a top 4 race. But unfortunately, yeah, I think we will drop points. I think we'll draw 1-1. I think.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. But look, for me, I'm gonna give my score prediction now. Do you know what? We were looking for a response after the Sheffield United game.
We'll do a fucking response. We'll win 2-1.
Yeah, like we're looking for a response after the Sheffield United game, and look, I think now is the time to do it. Look, you have Southampton and you have Everton this week, and 6, as the thumbnail in the video says, I was going to say at the end of the show, 6 points are an absolute must this week. Not 4 points, not 1 point, not 3 points, fucking 6 points. 6 points are nothing this week, and that's what it is. So look, for me, I'm going to go with Manchester United, keep a clean sheet tonight. I'm going to go Manchester United 2-0. I think, look, tonight would be the right time for a response. Shane didn't give his goal scores, but I'm going to do it for him in terms of the 2 goals Manchester United are going to score tonight. So I'm going to go with, because I've done this on the last show that I was on with Shane, and I predicted the scores, so I'm going to predict it again. I'm going to go the goal scores again tonight. So I'm going to go with my man, the Magnifico, Mr. Bruno Fernandes, getting on the score sheet tonight. And you know what? Just for all you little pricks on social media, Bruno Fernandes is going to score a fucking penalty tonight. Fucking deal with it. Drink it. Run from it. But it's going to fucking happen.
We're due a penalty, but we're not getting a penalty. We're not getting a penalty in a while.
Since that fucking German veneered-looking cunt started running his mouth. In the media, we haven't got a penalty since. But look, we're not screaming.
We had a good thing going, and he's after fucking it up.
But I'm gonna go with Bruno to score from the penalty spot today, and my my former man before Bruno came in, but he's still one of my favorites. My man, Labile Pogba, Mr. Paul Pogba, to get on the score sheet tonight, and Manchester United win the game 2-0.
Yeah, I think Bruno will score as well. To be honest, I think he's due a goal contribution. I think it'll be a goal. Hopefully, we need to get him. We need to get him and Rashford come back into form, because it looks like Martial's he's finished,
isn't he? He is finished.
He's playing his way into a move out of Old Trafford at the minute. I really hope. I do like him, and I think he's a good player. So I hope he picks it up before the end of the season. But one thing Ollie's shown is like he is kind of ruthless, like, in letting people go. Yeah. So, you know, I do think if this keeps up, that he could be out at the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And look for me. Look, if Amad Diallo comes in and impresses, and Greenwood impresses in the striker role, could spell the end of his time for Tony. But look, again, as I say, we've constructively criticised him. I say he's finished because I don't think like he's going to get back to the way he did last year. I don't think that's possible with the kind of form he's in now. But I'm not going to go out there. I'm not going to abuse him like other little pricks would. Yeah. But yeah, look, Shane says 1-1, but then switched to 2-1. I said 2-0. If anyone has score predictions in the comments just before we finish, do get them in. You know, with regards to this, it's been a fantastic show. Again, like, look, the more I have days off, I'm going to do more of these. I'm going to do afternoon shows because they're very interactive today. I do appreciate everyone's comments in there. And look, again, the
comments are very good today.
Comments very good, great points by the comments. Even if the people in the comments, if you want to jump on here and jump on with the likes of me, Shane, Jamie, Dylan, you know, all of my panel that I do have over here, if you're Manchester United fans, you do want to jump on Devil's Advocate. Look, pop me a message on Twitter. We'll get you on. And look, again, it's always good to get more faces on the show, as always. Like, look, I'm both myself and Shane always open to have more people on the show. Jamie has said 3-1 us. If we lose or draw, I'll worry. Yeah, I do share that same sentiment, I think.
If we drop points, we might be fucking Steve, you know.
Yeah, but look, well, at least we won't finish like 14th in the table like Arsenal. But yeah, look, that'll be fine. And Reese has said, Reese thinks we're going to win 2-1, and it was an awesome show. I really do appreciate it, guys. Really do appreciate the support, and especially all the comments that came today. It's absolutely fantastic. In the words of Ollie, it was fantastic. You know yourself. But yeah, look, we'll be back tomorrow on the weekly armchair kickoff. Our all women show is live tomorrow night, 7:45 p.m. And look, they will be doing talking all things Premier League tomorrow. Obviously, reviewing the massive game between United and Southampton today, and among other games in the Premier League this midweek, because we're packed with football today. So look, they will be discussing all things the Premier League tomorrow, and I'll be back this week. I'll probably be back Friday night, 9 o'clock. We'll be live then. I'll be talking all things Manchester United. And look, we'll also, the London Lowdown will most likely be back this Thursday too. And so look, there's plenty of content this week. MMA show coming Saturday night as well. Reviewing Conor McGregor's loss to Dustin Poirier and kind of where does his career go from there. So look, again, if you leave any sport, this is the channel to come to. Because we might even throw in a WWE podcast at one point. You never know. Because Edge won the Royal Rumble the other night. Do you know what I mean? So we might throw a WWE podcast in there as well if anyone wants to hear it. So up here, I'm all ears. Definitely. Look, Reese, we'll definitely get you on. Get on Twitter, and we'll something out in that regard. But look, thanks everyone again for watching. And do subscribe to the channel. Do smash a like in the video. And again, as always, look, we will be back this week with more content.